All right, so this is about how to write copy and copy that converts. Who here has written their own copy? Okay, pretty much everybody. Who here has hired people to write their own copy? And what have you had better results with? Your own copy or when you've hired somebody? Hit or miss? All right. Well, my goal with this presentation is to teach you the basics, the fundamentals, so that whether you want to write your own copy or if you're going to hire somebody, you're going to know at least what to look for. And if you want to just do it yourself, sometimes that works out a lot better, especially if you get some training yourself, do a course. Personally, that's the way I recommend. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't have the time, then I highly recommend hiring somebody. And hopefully this will give you the fundamentals to know what to look for and to know whether the copy is any good or not. Because copy is basically fundamental to your business, to your listing, whether you're doing it on Amazon or off Amazon. It's going to make a huge difference. So let's get into it. Who am I? So I've been writing copy for 2 to 3 years in-house for a couple different 7-figure companies. By in-house, I just mean like I was the main copywriter, did all the copy for the businesses, brought in about $1 million in sales just from email alone. And I specialize in what's called avatar creation, or you might be familiar more with what's called a persona. And I'll get into what that is, why that's important, why it's fundamental to all the copy that you write. I also write sales letters, funnels, and I maximize the back end of businesses with email as well. And I'm going to be showing you guys some strategies to write some killer emails so they get opened, clicked, and people buy from you. So I talked a little bit about why copy. I'm just going to cover the basics here because every time I go to an event and talk about copy or copywriting, somebody says or asks me, like, what is that? Do you do trademarks? Is there anybody who doesn't know what copywriting is? No? Okay, that's amazing. All right, great. So everybody knows what copy is. So that means you also understand why it's important to really nail your copy, to speak to who your ideal customer is, and to really speak to their needs, their desires. And this can really make or break your business. For example, if you're not speaking to your avatar or your persona's needs, their desires, what their solutions that they're looking for, they're not going to click on your ads. They're not going to click on your headlines. And basically, you're going to get very low response rates. So as an example, I changed the copy for a website who's getting about 150,000, 200,000 hits from SEO. They had a landing page, and it was very basic. It was just saying like, hey, it wasn't a landing page, but their opt-in copy on the side of their website just said like, hey, like download our free ebook, and we'll send it to your email. And most people have seen this kind of copy, and I call it like so what copy. And when I changed that around for them, spoke to their avatar's needs, it 7x'd the conversion rates, and it brought in about 10,000 new leads per month with the same traffic at no extra cost. So imagine you're getting 10,000 new leads to your email list every month for free. That's the power of great copy. And good copy can turn your product into a best-selling book fast. As an example, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek. Everybody here, I'm sure, is familiar with that book, right? Yeah. Right. Well, how Tim actually came up with that idea is first he had a couple different ideas for the book, and what he did is he actually tested them all with Google pay-per-click ads, and he found out that the best one turned out to be the 4-Hour Workweek, and that turned out to be his book title, and it became a bestseller. And most people are shooting in the dark when it comes to writing copy. They think they know who their avatar is, who their customer is, and they're just writing copy. And it's like throwing pizza at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's very common. So let's get into it. So copy, it all starts with your avatar and research. And this is the same thing with your Amazon listing. So what kind of industries are people in? Like, what kind of products are people selling here? What's that?
I said doggy, someone said sex toys.
Sex toys. Okay, so yeah, so like I don't know the avatar of sex toys, but you know, the person who is buying sex toys, you know, there's a very specific reason why they're buying that, right? You know, they want to get off. They're lonely. They're looking for, you know, more pleasure in the bedroom. You know, God knows what. I don't. Full disclosure, I haven't purchased any. So what you want to figure out when you've got a product or a service is you want to figure out what's your avatars or your personas, you know, what are their challenges, what are their problems, what are they struggling with. And what I recommend you do is you take out a sheet of paper, I mean, not right now, but at home, whenever you're doing your research before you create a marketing campaign, before you even come out with the next product, you want to figure out and write this down, like who is your avatar, what are they struggling with, and just compile a huge list of this. Myself, I do this all by hand, and I do it like real old school, and I'll go through like forums, Amazon listings, and what I'll do is I'll check out the reviews. I'll look at the good reviews, the bad reviews, and I'm going to be reading everything, and I'm going to be taking note of all the challenges, all the solutions, or all the desires people have, all the problems people are having with the competitors in this industry. And I'm going to be compiling a giant list of that and ticking off every time I see something come up over and over and over again, because that's going to let me know what are my buyers' biggest pain points. And that's what I'm going to like create my entire marketing campaign around. And just to give you guys an idea of like where you can apply this, just in case people aren't aware, you can apply this to everything from your your PPC ads, your video ads, your emails, your landing pages, your sales pages. If you're going to do a webinar, this could be the foundation of your script. It's going to be the headline of your webinar, why people will choose to opt in or sign up to whatever you've got to offer, including looking at your listing on Amazon and deciding, okay, that's the product I'm going to purchase. And how you're going to convince somebody to purchase your product over anybody else's is by truly speaking to the problems and challenges that they have, and very explicitly spelling out why your product or service solves their problem for them. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? Yeah? Okay, cool. Other questions to look at and answer as well, either in your copy, your emails, your Amazon listing, is talking about the objections that people are having with their problem and the product that you're going to be selling. What's stopping them from achieving their dreams, from getting the results that they're looking for, or overcoming the problem. You want to make sure that you tackle that in your copy. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to do a couple breakdowns of ad copies I've done, sales letters, emails, and you're going to see all this stuff that I'm sharing with you put into action. And I'm going to go over it with you so you have a concrete idea, and it's all spelled out for you. Okay, so you want to look at like what other solutions have they tried, and you want to speak to that. So let's say you're selling a supplement for weight loss. It's really important that you speak to other solutions that people have tried, because that lets the reader know that you get them and that you're not just trying to, you're not just some other bozo who's trying to sell them something. You're saying, hey, I get where you've been. I know you've tried, P90X. You've tried, all these weight loss pills, and you're going on these yo-yo diets, and you're still not losing weight. You're still stuck. You're plateauing, or what have you. You want to talk to that And when you do talk to that, that makes your reader get that you get them, and that builds trust with them. That's how you build rapport online, is by speaking to the reader's it's by speaking to your readers, your avatars' experience in reality. And here's a great trick that I learned from a guy called Travis Sago. Anybody familiar with him? Email Mojo? Yeah, one person. Okay, cool. Is Heaven Island and Hell Island. And what this is you want to compile a list on two sides. On one side, it's Hell Island. That's the problem that your customer has, or problems. What does Hell Island look like for them? Like, where are they stuck? And like, what's stopping them? What is holding them back? Why are they not getting the results they're not getting? And you want to create this like vivid image of what Hell Island looks like for your customer. And on the other end, you want to create Heaven Island. And what's that outcome? What's it going to look like when your customer, your avatar, has solved their biggest problem? So like on the sex toys idea, Hell Island, this person, they're lonely, they're, not getting their needs met, they're, and in Heaven Island, they are euphoric, they're having orgasms, they're happy. What your goal is here is to bridge the gap and take them on a boat ride from Hell Island to Heaven Island. And that's what your copy is going to do, is speak to them and take them across that vast ocean and solve their problem for them. And you're like the tour guide on that boat. And you're saying like, hey, there's sharks here, and whatever sharks are as their problems, that's what you're going to be speaking to. And finally, what's the big outcome your customers are going to get with your product or service? So just going to make something up here. If we're selling standing desks on Amazon, one of the big reasons why people buy these standing desks. Anybody here bought a standing desk? Yeah, a couple people? Yeah. So one of the big problems that people have is they have back problems. They're sitting all day, they're getting these hunches, and it's causing them all sorts of back problems. Well, one of the reasons people will buy them is so that they can straighten up, get better circulation, et cetera, and that's the outcome that this product or service sells, and that's what you want to speak to. Like, what's the end goal for this person? And for every product, every service, every market, it's different, and that's why you got to do your avatar research and figure that out. Because as I'll go into very shortly, markets evolve and they change. That's why you can start marketing something, and then 3, 6, 12 months later, the same ad doesn't work anymore because competition sets in. People start copying what you're doing, or they say that their product is better in for whatever reasons. So we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. All right, so what not to do when writing copy? Number one, don't be boring. Who here has signed up to, everybody here has signed up to email lists, right? Of course. The number one problem that I see with email copy is people are boring as heck, and those emails don't get opened, they don't get read, and they don't get clicked. Unless you're really freaking bored, and you're like, okay, what's this, 20% off? I'll check it out, right? But that doesn't get clicks. What does get clicks, I'll tell you on the next slide. Next, never guess what you should write about. This goes back into the avatar creation. When you spell out and figure out, okay, what does Heaven Island look like and what does Hell Island look like, you can, you've got a map of what to write about, and you can create your email copy, your listing copy, and it's all done for you. There's no guesswork once you've done your research. As a copywriter, my position, I'd say 80 to 90% of my job is just research. I'm looking at what people are saying. I'm literally calling up customers, and I'm saying, hey guys, what's your biggest challenge? What are you experiencing? I'm doing surveys. I'm just trying to figure out what are people's issues. And so when you're writing copy, if you find yourself guessing or making assumptions, stop yourself. because you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. And I see so many business owners doing this. If you're going to write your own copy, there's a couple classic books that I highly recommend reading. Tested Advertising Methods, Scientific Advertising, and Breakthrough Advertising. All great starting points. Breakthrough Advertising, I'm going to get into a little bit because it's classic and there's some really high-level ideas in there that are worth incorporating. It's one of the best books on copywriting available, but it's a bit higher level, so I don't recommend you start with that. Start with one of the first two. On this thing, last point, what not to do when writing copy, don't hire a cheap copywriter. Don't go on Fiverr. Just don't. They can do more damage to your business than if you did it yourself. And that's because a lot of these cheap copywriters, they're just going to guess, they're going to do a half-assed job, and it's just a bigger risk. So that's that. And finally, honestly, I recommend learning the basics of copy to do it yourself so you can get the basics down. And if ever you were to hire somebody, you'd at least know what to look for, what's good copy and what's bad copy when your copywriter is submitting copy. All right. Getting started writing copy. You don't need to be a good copywriter yourself. You don't even need to be a good writer yourself. My first language is French. My grammar is not always great when it comes to English. Yet I have still done very well. The first sales letter I ever wrote was for a product launch, and it did like $36K in a week just from an internal email list itself. Where did I go? No like ninja NLP mind hacks will work. Don't try this at home, whatever NLP, ninja stuff people are telling you about. None of that's going to work unless you know what your avatar's pain points are. Because if you're not speaking to that, your copy's irrelevant. And people are just going to ignore you. It's not going to make people click. And you're not going to make any money doing that. And when you're writing copy or you're reviewing copy that a copywriter's submitted, you always want to always make sure that the copy is answering the question, what's in it for me? Let's come up with another idea other than sex toys. What's like another business somebody's in here? Doggies? Dog niche. What specifically?
Pee pads.
What's that?
Pee pads.
Pee pads?
Yeah, like washing the pee pads.
I don't know what that is.
So it's a dog on a pad or puppy training.
Okay, it's for puppy training.
Yeah.
Okay, so as an example, I've never seen that before, but I'll just make the best of it. Pee pads, let's see here. A pee pad, what's in it for me? Well, you're not going to have freaking pee stains on your carpet or whatever. I don't know how they're used. But you always want to be answering the question, what's in it for me? So if you're sending out an email and it's like, oh, this pad is awesome. Well, if that's your subject line, people are going to be like, oh, well, what's in it for me? Go ahead.
It has to be big enough. We have a Chihuahua, so.
Okay, there.
The pad has to be big enough so he doesn't pee everywhere.
Gotcha. So like a headline, let's say a subject line for a pee pad. I don't know the market well, but I can imagine if I have a big dog, I could say like as a subject line for an email, I could say like, oh, this pee pad. Is that what they call them? What? Baby pads? I'm just going to call them pee pads, okay? As a subject line, I'd say, okay, pee pad's big enough for your, German Shepherd or whatever. If I have a German Shepherd, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to click on that, check that out, whatever, because that speaks to me. So now I know what it is, what's in it for me. I'm just going to close this. Okay. And here's a formula for all the copy that you write, whether it's an email, landing page, whatever. Here's the formula. It's ADA. And it's get the person's attention, build the interest, then build the desire, and at the end, make them take action. So, yeah, so that's pretty simple. So especially if you're writing a sales letter, let's say, this is what you want, like this is the formula, and you want to see as you scroll down, okay, am I getting this person's attention? Am I building interest? Is this interesting for them? And like, how am I creating desire? And at the very end, you always want somebody to take action. If people aren't taking action, they're not clicking, you're not making sales. So this is key, especially on Amazon, on the copy of your listings. What you always want to make sure is that you don't only talk about features. Does everybody know what I'm talking about here when I'm talking about features and benefits? Is there anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about here? No? Okay, amazing. You guys are quite savvy. So I'll just go over this real quick. Features are like specs for a computer. The resolution, how fast the computer is. The benefit is what's the outcome for me? What's in it for me, right? So feature, as an example, a probiotic has 30 billion bacteria per pill with 10 different strains. Okay, cool. Well, so what? What's in it for me? What's in it for me is the benefit. How is this relevant? People buy because of benefits, not because of features. The benefit is that the 10 different strains guaranteed to kill your IBS, cramping, heartburn, etc. And like I said, people buy on benefits, not features. So here's some actionable tips. If you're gonna write your own copy, one of the best things and tips that I can give for you, and this has done miracles for myself and my career. And like I said, I'm not a great writer myself, but this tip alone has, just skyrocketed my copywriting skills literally overnight. It's handwriting sales letters. This sounds weird, but this is a tip that will make your writing so much better. And what you want to do, it takes time. It can be grueling, but it's very worth it. And so what you do is you go and find sales letters that have been very successful. A website where you can find that on is swiped.co. And once you go there, you find sales letters from some of the top guys. I recommend like Gary Halbert, John Carlton, whatever names you're familiar with, Gary Bencivenga. And you want to handwrite those sales letters. And what it does is it ingrains within you the flow, the psychology, and the mindset that went down behind writing the ad itself. And your body you're just going to naturally pick up on it. It's just like listening to audio tapes of like Tony Robbins. I've heard people say like, oh, listen to Tony Robbins tapes while you sleep, because it just like hypnoses you. This does the same thing. Let's see here. Is that funny? Okay, I don't know. Okay, so next, imagine a day walking around in the shoes of your avatar. This is what will help you write just amazing emails, sales letters, etc. Is you want to figure out, okay, what does your avatar go through on a daily basis? And you really want to like imagine yourself waking up in this person's shoes and like experiencing the challenges that people have with these problems. So let's say you're selling pee pads for dogs. You wake up as the owner. You imagine yourself as the owner who wakes up in the morning. They get out of bed and they step into another puddle of pee, and they're pissed off, and their day just starts off literally on the wrong foot. And that could be an email right there that will hook people in, or you can write that in your Amazon listing, and that's very, very powerful. That just builds rapport with people and lets them know you get them. So that goes into the next point, to write out a movie script of what somebody's day looks like, the emotions they might be feeling, the thoughts that they might be having, and how their problem affects their life. If your carpet's stained for the third, fourth time, you're going to be, kind of peeved off. And come up with 30 different scenarios where your avatar is affected by this problem. And that's just going to give you a blueprint in your mind of like how to market to this person on every single medium. And that's very, very powerful. All right. So the benefits of writing good copy, it's pretty self-evident. But once you understand copywriting on a pretty good level, you can see different opportunities in your marketplace or with your own business in terms of creating new products, in terms of creating upsells, downsells, what kind of other products you could market to your list as an affiliate even. One of my last clients was a supplement company, and I'm going to share some emails that I wrote for him. But his avatar is men over 50, and what we found out is through like surveying and going through their Facebook insights is that this isn't just like, it's not just a man over 50, but it's a white collar worker. And understanding that information gives us a really much thorough understanding of who their avatar is and how to actually speak to them. And we actually came up with a brand new product, an herb to help them sleep better because we found out, okay, they're white collar workers, they're stressed out. Not only do they have low testosterone, but they have low energy and they sleep poorly, they're stressed out. And this gave us a much better, clearer picture of who they are. And we took out and we created a product, an herb, to help this guy's list sleep better. And when we launched it, it sold out in 24 hours from one email. So that's just the power of understanding who your avatar is and writing good copy. And you can dominate just about any marketplace when you understand how to speak to your audience. No matter how competitive the marketplace is, you can one-up your competitors, take over their listings, write better ads that convert at a much better percentage so you're not wasting your ad spend, and you can outbid and outconvert your client or your competitors, sorry. Okay, so who's heard of the 5 levels of market sophistication? Show of hands. A couple of people. Okay, so this is from a book called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. This book used to sell on eBay for $1,000. It's a book this big, and for decades it sold, 20 years, it sold on eBay for like $1,000, between $500 and $1,000. It's because it went out of print, and the information in there is literally a gold mine. This guy, Eugene Schwartz, was a copywriter. He's passed away now, but he wrote what's called controls for some of the biggest, largest publishers in America. And this guy made millions and millions of dollars only as a copywriter and on royalties. I'm going to share with you the 5 levels of market sophistication and why it's important to apply this to every single piece of copy that you write, whether it's an ad copy for Facebook or it's for your actual listing. So you'll see why this is important in just a sec. All right, so market sophistication level 1. What this is when you are the very first person to arrive in a marketplace. So let's imagine you are the first person to, the first car that ever existed. All you have to say is like, it's a car. Think back to 100 years ago. It's like, all you have to say in your ad is, this is a car. It replaces, horses. Or the first weight loss pill. You can just say, this is a weight loss pill. It's pretty self-evident. You show up, you say what it is, basic, simple, and you don't really need to say much else. However, when a new product in a marketplace becomes successful, people start jumping in and they start competing with you. And now you have all these different people who are saying, oh, we've got a car, I've got a car, I've got a supplement. I've got a supplement or a pill that helps you lose weight. And in that case, it becomes a saturated market. And people are like, oh, so what? What makes you different? And that's where the market sophistication evolves. And then you go into level 2. Now there's competition. People are saying, oh, I've got a weight loss pill and it helps you lose 10 pounds in a week. When people heard that for the first time, that pill just sold millions and millions of weight loss pills. Whatever industry you're in, let's go back to the pee pads. You can say, when they first came out, it's like, oh, pee pads for your dogs. Wipes up, or what does it do? It trains your dog? Is that what it does?
Yeah, so that they're not peeing in the house. They get used to peeing in one place, move it towards the door, and get them outside.
Perfect. So when the first pee pad came out, people were probably saying like, hey, like a pee pad to train your dog to pee in a certain spot. People are like, okay, I get that. As competitors come in, now the marketplace is evolving, and I don't know what kind of claims are going out there, so I'm just going to make something up. But you'd say something like, oh, like this pee pad trains your dog in 10 days or less, 30 days or less, what have you. And now the marketplace has evolved. The copy has to evolve. And if you're not evolving your copy and matching whatever's going on in the marketplace and upping that, then you're going to become irrelevant, and people are going to stop clicking on your ads. Ivy, I got till what, 11, 1?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go a little faster here. So then again, the market evolves. The claims get so outrageous that people just don't believe them anymore. Weight loss pill makes you lose 100 pounds in 2 days. No, it's not going to work. Same with pee pads. Trains your dog in 2 days. I'm not going to believe it. Well, what happens now is the market does evolve again, and your claims have to be different. In level 3, what happens is you incorporate a new mechanism, and that mechanism explains why the product gets these types of results. So, like, for example, with ketosis, like, oh, why does burn fat fast with ketosis? Why does ketosis work? Because it forces your body to use fat as fuel. I know that's not perfectly logical, but bear with me. Again, levels of sophistication, level 4, it evolves again, and it's very similar to level 2, where now there's a mechanism, and with that mechanism, you're going to add claims. Like, oh, with ketosis, you can burn fat you can burn 50 pounds in 2 months while still eating delicious foods like bacon. You're like, okay, I'm down. And level 5, this is where branding really comes in. This is when markets get so saturated, claims, mechanisms have been used so much that people just don't believe what you're saying anymore. And here you have to bond with people on an emotional level. So you're going to see this with car companies, soft drinks, computers, where the ad campaigns are really trying to attach you to like an identification. Like, what do you relate with? Like, oh, are you a Tesla kind of guy or a Mercedes kind of guy? What do what resonates with you? So yeah, that's an example. Keeping it simple, all your marketing has, for maximum effect, you want to always have one main idea, one main emotion, and one main call to action in whatever you're doing, whether it's your Facebook ad, email, sales letter, et cetera, et cetera. This is key because people get overwhelmed with information. And when you stick to just one idea, one emotion, and one call to action, you just straight line the momentum to closing the sale. Let me see.